It turns out that the acting US attorney for the state of Nevada, the state in which an Israeli official was caught up in a pedophile sting operation that was carried out by the FBI and local police, is an Israeli-born individual lawyer who has ties to various Zionist organizations, including the Israeli American Council, which is funded by Miriam Adelson. I think that information is relevant because the guy in question here, the alleged pedophile who got caught attempting to lure what he believed was a 15-year-old girl in Las Vegas for sex, his name is Tom Alexandrovich, was allowed to go back to Israel. He didn't even miss his scheduled flight back to Israel. And now that he's in Israel, it's unlikely that he's ever gonna be prosecuted for it. In fact, the Israelis appear to be providing cover for him, even though he got caught up in this joint sting operation. Now, the FBI being involved in this sting operation is very relevant because you would expect the federal government to pursue prosecution. But they're not pursuing prosecution. In fact, Sigal Chattah, that's the name of the Israeli-born, Trump-appointed acting US attorney for Nevada, says the following in a statement. This is posted on X. Last week, Tom Alexandrovich was arrested in a Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children joint operation, and he was booked into the Henderson Detention Center. This important multi-agency operation targeted child sex predators who preyed upon the most vulnerable members of our communities. As a result of the operation, the Clark County District Attorney's Office is handling the prosecution. Why? So understand, this is essentially Sigal Chattah's way of saying, we wash our hands of this pedophile, this Israeli official who is an alleged pedophile. And we're gonna just allow the state to deal with it, even though we allowed this guy to fly back to Israel, which means extraditing him back to the United States to face prosecution and to face charges is already incredibly difficult. There are literally thousands of cases in which the federal government in the United States has attempted to extradite Israelis for crimes they've committed here in the US. And Israel won't play ball because Israel owns us. Let's keep it real. So why would we think for a second that the state prosecution, Nevada prosecuting him, would make it any easier to bring him to justice? It wouldn't. And I think that's the point here. So mind you, the FBI, again, was part of the sting operation, yet federal prosecutors are washing their hands of it. Why? Why would the FBI be part of a sting operation when federal authorities don't plan on prosecuting individuals who have been caught in the sting operation? And keep in mind, the crime he is accused of here, Alexandrovich, he is accused of a felony, using technology to lure a minor for sex. A felony punishable in Nevada by between 1 and 10 years in prison, in addition to fines up to $10,000. In Nevada, this is a category B felony, the second most serious type of crime after offenses that involve causing death or grievous injury.
Yeah. So guys, we've got a petition on to extradite this Alexandrovich guy. I'm gonna come back to that in a little bit, and the link is in the description box. But first, there's a hero in this story, and it is a Republican. And if we had told you about it 6 months ago, which I kind of did, no, I didn't. Certainly not specifically. You would have been surprised, and on this person, I would have been surprised. And Democrats should be ashamed for not talking about this at all. Okay, but let me first address Sigal Chattah. She was born outside the country, so what? I was born outside the country, right? And there's no harm in that. And Miriam Adelson is also an Israeli citizen. Okay, no problem. Some countries allow dual citizenship. It is what it is. Okay, but now, if I was the Attorney General somewhere, and then 8 people are caught, 7 of them are Americans, and I go, you guys, you Americans, go to prison, okay? You, Turkish guy, I'm gonna let you go. Would it be reasonable to question me?
Yes.
Well, obviously it would, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd say, well, that's an odd coincidence, right? You were a Turkish citizen, you were born in Turkey, now you're an American citizen, but you let the one Turkish guy go, even though he was trying to rape an American kid. Can you see how that arouses suspicion? And I would say, oh, I get why it arouses suspicion. And I would, if I were to do anything like that, which I never would, right? But there would have to be an extraordinary reason, and I would have to have that ready. And I wouldn't go like, Oh, you're just being anti-Turkish. What? No, they're asking you a reasonable question. Like, don't hide behind you're being racist. No, you let a pedophile go. Why did you let them go? You don't need a little bit of an explanation for that. You need an excellent explanation for that. And then it turns out you're from that country originally, and you are bribed legally by someone who's a citizen of that country. Miriam Adelson and her husband have given $337 million to Donald Trump. They've given an infinite amount of money to the Israeli lobby and to endless politicians in this country. So, and then they say, and by the way, they demand that they work for Israel. And by the way, that's not hyperbole at all. Donald Trump himself has said, the Adelsons asked me to move the embassy in Israel, so I moved our embassy.
Yeah.
He's just admitting that he's giving away foreign policy to the donors of a foreign government. Okay, and then now is Miriam this time around gave him 117 million and demanded that he let America stand by as Israel annexed the West Bank. Okay, and Donald Trump said yes. Well reported in Israel as well as America.
Yep.
Right? So now you don't get to hide behind, oh, dual loyalty is a trope. When you are literally a dual citizen, you pay people to work for the other country and not our country, and you let their criminals go when they're trying to rape our kids. No, you don't get to make those claims anymore.
Yeah, no, I want to be 100% clear. Look, the whole thing about like, oh, it's a trope, you can't say it because it's a trope. If she is still a citizen of Israel, I think there needs to be laws passed that ensure that if you want to serve in the government, if you want to be a public servant to the American people, you need to be an American citizen only. If you're a private citizen and you have dual citizenship, I don't really care, you're a private citizen. But if you're a public servant and you are in a position that is meant to serve the best interests of the American people, it is a conflict of interest to be a citizen of a foreign country in addition to an American citizen.
Can I just say one quick example of that? Rahm Emanuel literally served in the IDF, a foreign army. And then he was a chief of staff to Barack Obama. The chief of staff to the president is the second most powerful position in the country. They're the gatekeepers for power. No one gets to see the president without the chief of staff. The chief of staff plans the agenda and decides what the president sees and doesn't see, okay? And our chief of staff was in a foreign army.
That's
mental. Imagine if he was in the Russian army, the Chinese army, any army. But for Israel, nothing but special exception, special exception, special exemption. They could do anything they want, they're above the law, but don't say it, because if you do, we're gonna smear you and try to ruin your life.
So look, we should get to know this US attorney, okay? Because last month, more than 100 retired judges signed a letter objecting to Trump's appointment of her, calling her unqualified and citing her well-documented history of racist remarks, conspiracy theories, and threats of violence. Interesting, okay. So she just recently deactivated her X account after the story of her letting an Israeli official who might be a disgusting pedophile who rapes American children go. And so before she deactivated it, got some screenshots of the types of commentary she has in regard to the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Here's an example. No statehood ever for these animals. Netanyahu needs to start acting like a Churchill instead of a Chamberlain and wipe Gaza off the map.
So we literally have a genocidal freak, a Nazi, as the US attorney in Nevada. I mean, how is that conscionable? Imagine if she said the same exact thing about the Israelis. Same word for word. We need to wipe Tel Aviv off the map, okay? These Jewish animals need to be wiped out. Well, obviously we'd say, no, a Nazi cannot serve as the US attorney in Nevada. She says the same exact thing about Muslims, not a peep.
Not a peep, and by the way, she loves that line. She's repeated it over and over again on her X account. Here's another example, wipe Gaza off the map. Let's go to the next one. She writes, this one just blows my mind because she acknowledges that she wants to slaughter the children in Gaza. There are 2 million terrorists in Gaza. Remember, more than 50% of the population in Gaza under the age of 18. Okay, but she knows that. So she says, it's not just those carrying rifles and wearing green headbands, she's referring to Hamas, The so-called uninvolved civilians are not uninvolved at all. So slaughter all of them, all 2 million of them. She's a loathsome, disgusting human being. And obviously she doesn't care about the well-being of children, whether they're American or Gazan. She also wrote—
and by the way, in that tweet, if you notice, she said even the children are part of this.
Yeah, that's right.
So she's like, let's murder 1 million children, and she's the attorney general in a US state.
She's vile, okay? Here's another example. 33,000 Palestinians have been killed. Well, that's too bad. They would have had 0 Palestinians killed if they would have released the hostages on October 8th. We all know that's not true.
That's not remotely true.
They want to live by the sword, they can die by the sword.
No, you guys want to live by the sword. All you do is bomb people and light them on fire. You crush them, you kill them, you starve them. Now, what if somebody had said the exact opposite? Israel wants to live by the sword, they should all die by the sword. Who cares about 33,000 innocent Israelis being butchered? Would they remain in job? Remember when Charlottesville, when they said the Jews will not replace us? That was horrific. Everybody condemned it, I condemned it, everybody condemned it to no end, and of course you should. What kind of Nazis say that, right? Now they're saying it about the Muslims, but they're actually in the government.
Yeah.
They're in, and then a pedophile Israeli comes in, and he's like, she's like, you're helping murder Palestinian children? You're free to go, you're free to go. Americans, go to jail. You're not Israeli. You go to jail, Israeli. Go off you go. Go slaughter more Palestinians. Kill their babies.
Again, this is a guy who got caught attempting to have sex with a minor in a sting operation, attempting to rape an American girl. Doesn't care. This woman doesn't care about the well-being of American children when she's willing to let this guy go. Now she's trying to blame everyone else. She's lashing out about it. So I'll go to the post that she had recently where she says a liberal district attorney and state court judge in Nevada failed to require an alleged child molester to surrender his passport. You are the US attorney, the acting US attorney. You are more powerful, okay, than
why didn't you demand it?
Yeah, this is on you. And she doesn't want to take responsibility. And by the way, making this like a partisan issue is hilarious to me.
Hey, Sigal Chattah, did you go into court or send anybody into court to say he must surrender his passport? He's a flight risk, he works for a foreign government, and we caught him doing something terrible. Did you do that? Oh no, you didn't. You freaking helped him fly out the country, didn't you? Didn't you? Now you're trying to blame other people.
So local station KLAS reported that Alexandrovich did not appear before a judge and posted bond before his state entitled probable cause hearing and before prosecutors filed a criminal complaint against him, meaning no judge could put any added restrictions on his release, records indicated.
So it is 100% the prosecutor's fault.
That's exactly right.
And not the judge's fault at all. Does she work for this country? It's a super legitimate question. Does she work for this country or a different country?
Well,
I mean, we used to have laws against treason. Look, I'm not talking about the penalties. I'm not even close to that.
I just want her out.
Can we not have a Nazi as an attorney general in this country, in any state? Can we not have someone who says, if you're gonna rape children, if you're an Israeli, get out of jail free card, get out of jail. I mean, right, as long as she stays attorney general in Nevada, every pedophile in Israel is gonna be like, oh my God, I gotta go get a ticket, right?
Yeah, free
I could rape anyone I like, and then the Israeli attorney general is gonna let me go. But my idiot American accomplices, they'll probably get life in prison. Look guys, there's a petition in the description box. There's no ands, ifs, or buts to this story. Either we get the son of a bitch back and put him in prison, or give him a fair trial, right? Either that happens and extradition happens, and that's what we're asking for. The link is in the description box. Either he goes into prison and is extradited from Israel, or if he's not extradited from Israel, that means we shouldn't allow any Israelis to come here. I'm dead serious. Because that means they have a get out of jail free card. They could commit any crime in America, just run away to Israel, and we never get them back.
Finally, I want to give credit to a Republican lawmaker who is willing to say things that I haven't really seen Democrats willing to say. I mean, I don't know what world I'm living in, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is absolutely killing it by telling the truth on this issue. She posted on X Two recent decisions made by the State Department both involve children. We need to be the America that allows war-torn children to come here for life-saving surgeries, and the America that never releases a foreign child sex predator that our great law enforcement officials caught. But in this circumstance, those war-torn children from Gaza and this foreign child sex predator is from Israel and works directly for Netanyahu. Let me guess, would it be anti-Semitic to drag Netanyahu's cyber executive director back and prosecute this POS to the full extent of the law, and at the same time let Palestinian kids who had their limbs and bodies blown apart receive surgeries in America? There was more to that post, but that was the gist of it. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't care what anyone has to say about me for supporting you in your efforts here. I commend you. She's a person, she's a real person. Say what you will about Marjorie Taylor Greene, at least she's a real human being and not a freaking robot, not a puppet, someone who knows the difference between right and wrong when it comes to this incredibly important issue. And I'm glad that she's saying the quiet parts out loud. Our Democratic lawmakers aren't doing it. What do you stand for if you're a Democratic lawmaker? I need to know.
So when I had Marjorie Taylor Greene on this show, some folks said, oh, she'll never actually do the right thing. Well, here she is doing the right thing, okay? And she's blocked bills that were going to say that you can't criticize Israel in America, etc. So here's my question. Look, I didn't have Marjorie Taylor Greene being a hero on this issue on my bingo card. I knew that some on the right would turn on Israel. I said it even before the administration began. But Marjorie Taylor Greene. But look, that is why populism is always better than the establishment. Because the establishment is full of fake robot actors. They're all lying to you, and they're trying to get you to bow your head to all the donors, not just Israel, but to all the donor class, mainly corporations, okay? So when you have human beings with all their giant flaws, like Marjorie Taylor Greene has, right? And mistakes that they make, etc. I'll take a human over a robot any day.
Same.
And we'll fight her on the things we disagree on, but look at her being a human on things that we agree on. Okay, now, my main question is, where the hell are the Democrats? Now, I get it, all their leadership is corrupt, right? So #1 donor to Chuck Schumer's AIPAC, #1 donor to Hakeem Jeffries' AIPAC. Kathleen Clark, the #2 Democrat in the House today, apologized for calling it a genocide in Israel. She begged for forgiveness from her donors. Oh, I'm so sorry, Israel. I meant you could murder any Palestinians you want as long as the check clears. So I'm not talking about their leadership. Their leadership is disgusting, okay? They're just as corrupt as Republican leadership. Trump, Mike Johnson, all of them, #1 donor Israeli lobby throughout their careers, all corrupt. But I don't get it. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but AOC, Rashida Tlaib, if you guys did a joint press conference, I don't know, maybe they don't know this.
AOC's terrible on this topic.
Okay, but hold on.
Keeping it 100.
Hold on though, but for God's sake, do you not know this? If AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene did a press conference together about this issue, or these two issues, it would get a world of attention. Everyone would have to look at that press conference. What's stopping you from reaching out to Marjorie Taylor Greene as she's reaching out to our side?
Yeah.
What the hell is stopping you? What is wrong with you? Why is she the one who's the champion of this? And the second person that's second best on this, honestly, is Tom Massey.
Yes.
Where are you guys? I'm not trying to criticize Rashida Tlaib. I'm sure her heart is broken. She's a Palestinian American and did some good things in the beginning, but why don't you grab this opportunity? Do something for God's sake, and defy your stupid, deeply corrupt leadership. Who cares about your stupid leadership? Your leadership are the bad guys.
I mean, the leadership is walking you off a cliff. So,
but hey, you know what? You might want to get their permission first. And it might hurt your brand if you work with Marjorie Taylor Greene. It might hurt your brand. Okay, get up and fight back. There's a child rapist that Israel says they're not going to return. They even denied that he was that official in the beginning because they're giant liars. Yeah. Are you ever going to protect us? Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.